Welcome to a beautiful evening in the Mile High City as we get set for baseball between the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. A win would go a long way tonight for Colorado. They would pass the Diamondbacks, move back into second place, and earn a split in this four-game series. Welcome inside Coors Field. Tom Helmer alongside Tracy Ringlesby and Mark Stout. Jim Tracy shaking up the lineup for the Rockies tonight. Seth Smith will be batting leadoff. Dexter Fowler has been moved to the 8th spot. A bit of a surprise, but Jim Tracy has said he has good reason to mix things up.
There are some adjustments that he needs to make with his swing, most notably left-handed. And I think that from that standpoint, and with that being said, that spot in the order is a much more convenient environment for him to be able to work on some of the things that we discussed.
Well, Tracy, let's start with Dexter Fowler batting 8th and what Jim Tracy hopes that does for him.
I just think he wants to get him down to a place where there's not as much focus on what he's doing, where he relaxes a little bit more. Really wants to shorten or stroke it from the left side. I know from talking to Dexter, he said, you know, the biggest thing for me right now is I'm seeing the ball very well. I've just got to do some mechanical things and get to where I get to the ball better. But I'm not having trouble seeing the ball. I'm not chasing pitches I shouldn't chase.
And Mark, Seth Smith may be the key to unlocking the offensive scoring Jim Tracy wants.
At the top of the order, we've covered it. Seth Smith is a moving piece within the order. He's also been an extra base hit machine of late. 15 doubles. That leads the team. In fact, that's second in all of the National League, and his average is tops on the team. Now you're wondering, what about his production? Well, Jim Tracy went on to say maybe Herrera at the top, but say the pitcher has to bunt somebody over to get into scoring position. The outfielders play so far in on a Herrera, it's difficult to get a sac fly, even to get something that'll score a run. So he thinks Seth Smith is better in that spot.
Essentially eliminate the middleman. If Seth Smith can get a double to get things going,
yep,
then you got a whole bunch of trouble behind him to try and get that run in. It makes it tough on the opposing pitcher. All right, we're going to take a break here from Coors Field. When we come back, we're getting set for baseball. Rockies need a win. Will the offense ignite tonight? We're about to find out. ever start for the Colorado Rockies. He's 1-1 with an ERA of just over 2. Can he keep it going tonight? Jim Tracy looking for the key to unlock this offense. He gave Troy Tulowitzki the day off yesterday. Tulowitzki back in the lineup and ready to go. Can the Rockies get it going and pick up the win? We're about to find out. Rockies baseball is next.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By the Ford F-150, it's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Drive one. By the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. By Sonic, America's Drive-In. It's new, it's better, it's the new Sonic Good. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Some clouds and some sun for our early evening Game 4 contest between the Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. The Rockies have dropped 2 of the last 3 to Arizona. They're just 3-5 so far this year against the D-backs. Today marks the midpoint of the season series. Southwest batting order for Kirk Gibson. He'll have Willie Bloomquist up top, then Kelly Johnson, who has swung it well in this series. Justin Upton, Stephen Drew, 3 and 4. Chris Young, he had the game-winning single last night, and of course, perhaps the game-saving catch also. Miguel Montero, Juan Miranda, with that bruised hand, is back in the lineup. Melvin Moore will bat 8th, and then Micah Owens, who is a very accomplished hitter. And the first pitch from Clayton Mortensen is over, strike one on Willie Bloomquist.
And Willie's the only guy in the Arizona Diamondbacks lineup that has faced Mortensen in his career, 0 for 3.
And a hard smash at Johnny Herrera. He kind of took it off to the side. Picks off the first out of the ball game, 4-3. And Kelly Johnson will be next as we take a look at Clayton Mortensen, who has been very, very good. And I don't want to, it's unfair to say it's surprising, but you know what? It is a bit surprising.
But good for him. He's had an opportunity to come up here and fill a void that they needed. He's doing that. The 186 batting average against, that's 4th best in the National League with guys over 25 innings.
And I think the dominance he's displayed is what has been surprising, because he's a contact type pitcher. He's not, you know, an overpowering guy. He's 86, 88, 89, maybe with a sinker. Likes to fill up the strike zone. He'll change speeds, but the fact that the league is hitting in the 180s against him, that has really got your attention.
And he's doing it against right-handers and left-handers. That's the key for me, because when a guy is not overpowering, a right-handed sinker ball pitcher, typically you will see left-handers with a higher batting average against. Lefties just hitting 194, right-handers 182 against Mortensen.
And a 1-2 pitch to Johnson, and he quickly dispatches of Kelly Johnson.
And those are some of the swings that you see off of Mortensen. The defensive swings, hard over the top curveball that goes down.
And he missed that by a bunch.
You know, just the way Kelly Johnson has been swinging the bat in this series, and even coming into this series, hit a grand slam the other day down in Arizona. But to see that defensive swing, but it's all about working ahead in the count.
And on the outside corner, a strike on Justin Upton. Upton kind of nodding to himself. All right, I'm trying to find the window the ball's coming out of. A little different motion. And that just misses inside. Mike Everett is behind home plate. He is the crew chief. And you see the rest of the group. Malinsky, Wegner. That's way inside. And Chris Caccione. It's actually Mark Ripperger at third. Here's a young umpire.
He worked part of the game the other day in the doubleheader.
2-2. Three and two. The Rockies will have Gonzalez, Fowler, and Smith in the outfield. Tulowitzki back in there at shortstop. Wigginton is next to him. Herrera at second. Helton at first. Iannetta behind the plate. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the 3-2. And it is chopped to third. Wigginton across the diamond, and a very nice start again for Clayton Mortensen. We'll see if the Rockies can get an early jump on Micah Owings. Goodman along with Jeff Houston and Mark Stout tonight from 20th and Blake. There's Seth Smith. He'll be leading things off for the Rockies. He's leading the club in batting average and slugging percentage. Not generally the guy you assume is going to hit at the top of your lineup. But again, trying to find the right combination is Jim Tracy. He'll have Herrera batting second, then Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Helton in the middle. Wigginton, he's been swinging the bat better. Chris Ionetta will bat seventh, and Dexter Fowler has been dropped all the way to the 8th spot in the lineup in front of the pitcher Mortensen.
Going to go up against a somewhat familiar foe, and Micah Owings pitched second tour of duty with the D-backs back in 08. He was 2-0 with a ERA below 7 against the Rockies. A different pitcher now, though. He's not an overpowering guy. He's going to be about 86 to 88, might touch 89, two-seamer, four-seamer, trying to work for some more depth on the breaking pitch.
And a delayed strike call on the inside corner, so it's 0-2 on Smith. I asked him before the ball game, I said, will you have any different approach batting leadoff? And he's done it, you know, a number of times in the big leagues. Obviously in his amateur career, he never did it. He said, no. He said, I'm going to take the same approach. He goes down swinging here, 1 out. Jonathan Herrera will come to the plate. Mike Owings, almost as well known for his offensive ability as his work as a pitcher. And of course, he's been up and down as a pitcher. Second tour with Arizona. That's in there for a strike.
Well, he's hit above 290 at the big league level with 9 home runs, 34 RBIs during his 4-year career. He's been used as a pinch hitter before. Won the Silver Slugger Award back in 07. So yeah, that's why people immediately Micah Owings, it's, oh yeah, he can hit.
I remember asking Bob Melvin once who had the most pop on the Diamondbacks, and he said Mike Owings, and he wasn't kidding. He meant it very seriously. And he's strong. I mean, Mike Owings has some legendary tales to tell about growing up in Georgia. Played a couple years at Georgia Tech and then transferred to Tulane for his junior year. This ball is well hit, get down, and it will. It'll be a base hit for Johnny Herrera. It's about where he hit the ball last night, pinch hitting for a double late in the ball game. So a 1-out knock for Herrera.
I mentioned earlier about Micah Owings trying to throw a slider with a little bit more depth on it. Well, this did not have a whole lot of depth. It was flat spinning coming up there. Jonathan Herrera stayed on it, hit in the gap in right center field. Justin Upton at the range cut it off, strong arm, get it back in to hold Jonathan to a single.
That'll bring up Cargo, and that was a flat slider as you described, Huey. And before batting practice today, formal batting practice, Rockies had a pitching machine out working on hitting the slider under the watchful eye of that man Carney Lansford. It's about the 3rd time this year they've actually brought it out on the field. They bring the curveball machine on the road with them.
Well, you see it a lot during spring training where you work on breaking pitches, and then for whatever reason it just kind of goes out the window once the regular season starts. But it's a good idea to do it at home where you can throw it out onto the mound. You can still get some of the look of what a breaking pitch will do at elevation, and see the spin. Work on going the other way with it.
2-strike count on Carlos Gonzalez. There was a hitters meeting before the ball game. Now, they have meetings all the time, but it's typically at the head of a series. They'll have a meeting tomorrow to go over the St. Louis Cardinal pitching staff. They had one here in Game 4 of the series because, in particular, Carney Lansford wanted to address identifying the first pitch. In other words, if you're going to fire at that first pitch, make sure it's a pitch that is in your location, where you're looking.
Well, and a prime example is what happened in last night's game, because Carlos Gonzalez said it after the game. He said, I was going up there sitting on something soft. Well, they threw him a fastball. He still swung at it. That's what he's talking about, is if you're going up there with a game plan, stick with it until you get to 2 strikes. If you think they're going to throw you soft the first couple pitches, they throw a fastball, you know, you cannot do that. And here's the pitch I was talking about from last night. It's a fastball that's away from, or into him a little bit, but he was looking for a changeup away. It's one thing if you look fastball adjust off speed.
1-2 on Cargo. He walked with that one out to the outside corner. It's a pitch Mike Owings wanted. It's 2-2.
Well, he wanted it because of where Miguel Montero was set up, but it was off the plate on the forward strike zone.
This one, as a hitter, you hold your breath for a second.
Yeah, you just sit there, you walk it out, you say, I had it the whole way. I knew it was a ball.
And again, Gonzalez wastes that pitch. Today, May the 26th. Up until this point, it has been a most forgettable month for the Rockies. They've done a lot of scoring in the first inning. They haven't done a lot of scoring overall. After a marvelous April, a 17-8 April, the Rockies are just 7-16 in the month of May. And they're at 500, 24-24.
But all that being said, the good news is going into tonight's game, starting right now, you're 2.5 games back.
The Giants were swept by the Marlins. They lost earlier today, 1-0. Of course, the Diamondbacks are 2 back. And this is pulled off of Miranda. And he's going to get the out at first, moving into scoring position. Goes Jonathan Herrera. That'll bring up Tulowitzki.
First time Miranda's been out there in about 4 or 5 days after the hand injury. A little bit of an in-between hop. Got his glove back too close to his body. Just could knock it down and get the out at first base.
Arizona defensively. Willie Bloomquist, like Ryan Roberts, very versatile. He can play infield and outfield. He's in left field tonight. Chris Young in center. He had the over-the-wall catch to rob Ty Wigginton of tying up the ball game late yesterday. Justin Upton in right. Moore's back in at third. Drew and Johnson up the middle. Miranda, who's missed every game in this series so far, will be at first base with Montero doing the catching. Tulowitzki with 2 outs and Herrera at second. And he takes strike 1.
Hard to believe, Troy, 1 for 29 against Arizona this year.
He couldn't believe it when he entered the series 0 for 21. He was not aware of that stat. Here's the 0-1. And that's in there, 0-2. Tulowitzki had a well advertised, as it turned out, day off yesterday, a mental health day. And sometimes you need to just get away, especially when you're wired the way Troy is. I mean, he wants to do well for the team so badly. Sometimes he can grind himself into the ground. Jim Tracy kind of saw that coming on, even though he doesn't have a lot of results, but he's hit some balls hard, going back to Sunday in Milwaukee.
But that's the hardest thing as a hitter. People, oh, good swing, way to go, it's nice. Sometimes I don't care about that. I want results. I want to see that blue pit go in there, the broken bat single, whatever it takes.
Look at the paper the next day. You had 2 knocks.
I don't care if there were 2 squibblers right out in front of home plate and I beat them out. It's better than 4 hang with them.
Yeah, that's right. The rest of the people around the country, they look,
hey, 2 for 4, way to go.
Yeah, 2 for 4. And Troy fouls this pitch off. Well, Carney Lansford was talking about Tulowitzki earlier.
I think in Tulo's case, that's his personality. He tries to do it all. And, no one person is going to get this thing done. And hitting's contagious. If Tulo just does his thing, Cargo does his thing, Wigginton does his thing, and Iannetta, if we all just do our part, then things will come together.
And a comebacker. So Owings will leave Jonathan Herrera at second base. We'll go to inning number 2, no score. Rockies in Arizona. Inning, no score. Rockies had a hit from Jonathan Herrera. Nothing else across as we check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, Drew, Jeff back here by the Rockies bullpen. Some of their arms. One of the arms that's been around town is Aaron Cook, the starting pitcher, who will continue his rehab at the AAA level. That'll be this Saturday night. He'll pitch for the Sky Sox in the Springs against the Fresno Grizzlies. Jim Tracy said today he is advancing well, just need to build up some arm strength, and hopefully his outing on Saturday will make the team make a decision on a former All-Star pitcher in Aaron Cook. Drew, Jeff?
So Aaron Cook continuing to progress toward a return to the big leagues. Stephen Drew at the plate with a 1-0 count against Clayton Mortensen. And he lifts this ball in the air toward Tulowitzki. One out. That'll bring up Chris Young.
So far early in this game, it's Clayton Mortensen doing what he does best. Pitching in, pitching away, keeping the hitters off balance. You know he's rolling when he's getting a lot of those ground balls. One of the best so far this year in the National League. Ground ball to fly ball ratio.
Now the Rockies as a staff, Huey, year in and year out, but this year no different. Get a lot of ground balls. I mean, Jimenez, when he's on his game, is going to get a lot of ground balls. Well, Chris Young on last night's catch, robbing Ty Wigginton in the game-tying home run. You practice for it. If it's gone any more than that, you look like a fool jumping against the wall for no reason. You just take a gamble and hope you can get up high enough for it. An early arrival at the wall is key also.
So you don't jump too late and hit your wall and all your momentum is absorbed by the wall, so you don't get the maximum height, and that's what Chris was able to do last night.
This ball is slammed to left, and it is going to be a double for Chris Young.
Double number 15 for Young.
Ties Seth Smith for second in the National League.
Ball got up. Clayton Mortensen, top of the zone, and Clayton's reaction as soon as he threw that pitch, he put his head down, because this is what you should do to a pitch that's about belt high. For the Rockies, that ball stayed in the ballpark.
Huey, I was just letting you finish that thought, and you got to where I was going. He's happy that's a double.
Yes.
Because honestly, if he gets underneath it at all, it's
15 rows back.
Exactly. Miguel Montero at the plate. Just off the corner. And Mortensen, if Young hung up, and the throw hits the runner, everybody's going to be safe. And that was, Huey, I'll let you break it down, but that, even before the ball struck Young, was a poor rundown.
It was. Clayton Mortensen did the right thing. The ball came back to him. Immediately give the ball up to the shortstop. Well, Chris Young went about halfway. Troy gave it up, but then where it became difficult or wrong was when Ty Wigginton should have run him back further towards the base. Make sure he cleared himself on the inside more towards the grass than right over the top of him. So the comebacker's good. You look at that guy, you give it up to the shortstop. Well, he takes off running, so Troy has to give it up because you want to try to run that guy back towards the base that he came from. There just wasn't enough. He just didn't clear himself, and he had already stopped, so you have the ball up and you run as hard as you can to him so you can give it up one step and a tag.
Well, on that play, it's a fielder's choice. It's an error ultimately on Wigginton, obviously. The pitcher ends up getting an assist, and so does the shortstop. Second and third, one out. There should have been 2 outs and a runner at first. Yeah, I want to go back to something you said. And here's a
hits him right in the hand. Now some people think, oh, he threw his hand up. That should have been no. He was just protecting himself. It wasn't a Reggie Jackson back in the World Series a number of years ago where he kind of threw his hip out at the ball.
So going back, you think Mortensen should have given up the baseball as quickly as he did?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the last thing you want him to do, and I know what you're saying, Drew, is start to go over towards third base a little bit. But then if Young breaks immediately back to the bag, Mortensen then would have to be throwing off balance back to a moving target over at second base. Give the ball up to the shortstop, then start the run down that way.
Now the Rockies are going to go ahead and walk Miranda, load up the bases for Melvin Mora, and try to get a ground ball. But either way, you know, he got rid of the baseball. They had Young caught, and if you execute a rundown play, you have 2 outs and a man at first.
Right. And then you wouldn't have to worry about intentionally walking Miranda to get to Melvin Mora.
And the ball, to your point, should never, even though it just got his hand, it shouldn't be in that lane of traffic, period.
No, you should clear yourself enough, probably about two steps or about 3 to 4 feet on either side, depending on which way that rundown starts.
On the corner for a strike on Mora.
Well, now you just have to get another ground ball if you're Mortensen.
Mora in his career, 5 slams, a .348 average. Mora did not play last night, 2 for 4, a couple of RBIs in the series. And you can see the sink there, and that Melvin barely clipped the baseball. It's 0-2.
Melvin wants to try to elevate the ball in this situation, but with the sink on it, just catch the top half of the baseball.
Young at third, Montero at second, Miranda at first, 1 out in the second.
Good block.
Real good block.
That ball does not have to get very far away with the speed at third base and Chris Young for him to advance. Wanted to go inside with the fastball. Chris recognizing that bouncing way out in front. That is textbook. Roll the shoulders, show your other hand up. Hope it hits your chest and drops straight down.
1-2, slowly hit, and you got to get this one foul. The Rockies and Ty Wigginton will. How about Arizona this year? They're 12 of 28 with the bases loaded. .429 average.
Reason why they're a game over 500.
Hey, what else? Kirk Gibson's team has played well against good teams. They're 15 and 13 against teams at 500 or better, including 5 and 3 against the Rockies this year.
Well, he put a mindset into this ball club. Not only what he did at the end of last year with them, but what he's done from spring training on. That we're not going to be afraid of anybody. We're going to go out and play our game. We're going to be aggressive. We'll see how we match up.
Another 1-2. Yeah, Mora doesn't have the pop he once had. Well, you go back to last year. So many professional at bats in a Rockies uniform. Hit 280 plus. He's still a tough out.
He understands his swing. He understands what the pitcher's trying to do. If he's working him in, he could still pull the hands in, hit the ball to right field.
Swung on and missed. A strikeout of Mora for out number 2 here in the second. And now the pitcher, Micah Owings, comes up. As we look at the last pitch.
This last slider was set up by the fastballs going in. and then go away.
And again, we remind you as you watch the swing that Micah Owings is the most accomplished hitting pitcher in baseball, even though he's been back and forth AAA the last couple of years. Last year with the Reds organization. Look at his career numbers.
It's kind of like having a DH in the lineup.
He's done a lot of pinch hitting in his career. That's a foul ball. In fact, Micah Owings this offseason, because he was a free agent, there were several clubs who called him and had interest in him being a first baseman. So he'd come to camp, we want you to try it as a first baseman, and he had no interest in that. In fact, he still felt like there's no question I'm a pitcher. And
he said he had 3 clubs call him and say, hey, we just want you to be a first baseman hitter.
0-2.
He doesn't get cheated after that last swing.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's a big man. He's 6'5" and about 240 pounds, but he has always kind of stepped in the bucket.
So where don't you want to throw?
You better be away and soft probably here, especially ahead 0-2.
Yeah. Not a fastball in.
He's right up on the plate. Iannetta goes to that outside corner. Strike 3. Put the slider right where Chris wanted it, and Mortensen weaves himself out of a bases-loaded one-out jam. We remain scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second at Coors Field. By Clayton Mortensen, striking out Mora and Owings with the bases loaded. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies tacos special. Todd Helton, Ty Wigginton, Chris Iannetta to face Micah Owings. Micah Owings has 2 career starts against the Rockies in the regular season, and they went very, very well. He saw them in the NLCS in 2007. It did not go so well.
Well, it went well for the Rockies. Matt Holliday took him deep. A lot of runs and not very many innings pitched.
And you always have to be cautious when you mention what a guy's done against a team in the past when it is in the distant past.
Well, especially
because there's, other than Todd Helton, there's a whole new cast here for the most part.
Yeah, and he's been pitching some down in AAA for a couple of those years. And this year down in Reno, he was 3-1 in 7 starts with a 4.85 ERA.
Like 22 games last year, all out of the pen for Cincinnati.
He was in the Adam Dunn trade with Cincinnati back in 08.
He has a brother playing in the Diamondbacks organization, 26-year-olds. They really like him mentoring their younger players in Visalia. Not necessarily a prospect anymore, but he's a guy they like having around.
You need those guys for your organization. Fact is, some guys aren't going to make it to the big leagues, but you have to have guys that are willing to mentor, to be the big brother to some of the younger kids throughout your whole system.
Three and two, and Todd waits and fouls it off.
Todd reminding himself to stay tall through the ball. He always does that with that left hand, kind of bringing it down towards the plate.
Nice reaction by Ty Wigginton on deck. A little bit of self-defense. Ball got chopped back in his direction. Well, Owens throwing a lot of strikes, 27 pitches, only 7 out of the strike zone. And when he's missed, it's been right on the edge. Yeah, he's been aggressive. Slider inside there, a little cut fastball. And Helton with a leadoff walk. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery as we take you back to the 2007 National League Championship Series. Seth Smith out there against Micah Owings, and the Rockies would get after him. Matt Holliday hitting a home run to dead center field. Rockies, of course, swept the Diamondbacks on their way to the World Series. Boy, Wigginton had a pitch to hit there, a little tilt in his swing. 0-1.
Really still flashing back to that ball that Chris Young robbed him of the home run last night.
Ty was saying he knew that it was going to be close. And I said, you know, that's happened to you, I'm sure, before in your career. He said it's happened a bunch. He said one game against Cincinnati a few years back, Ryan Friel went over the wall twice against him. Said the first one was kind of, you know, a nice play. He said the second one he was hanging on top of the fence.
Just hanging up there, just waiting for it to come down.
And he hates Ryan Friel now. I'm saying that just because later on in the year, Friel got him again. Three times in 1 year. Ryan Friel went over the wall to take a home run away from Ty Wigginton. Strike 3 on Wigginton. Called down on the inside corner. Second strikeout for Owings.
They tried to work Wigginton away and up. It came back inside, and that pitch was off the zone. But close enough for Mike Everett to call a strike.
This ball driven to right center field and deep, and it's going to be chased down by Upton. And off the bat, you thought that was at the very least a tweener for Chris Iannetta. 2 outs. That'll bring up Dexter Fowler. All season long, join us for Toyota Talk, text your comments live during the game, and see what you and fellow Rockies fans have on their minds about their favorite team. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then your comment to 720-720. one of the conversations in baseball today because of that very unfortunate injury late last night. Buster Posey, a collision at the plate, broke his ankle. He's going to have surgery. Posey is out for the year. Obviously a tremendous blow to the Giants. Their cleanup hitter, their leader behind the plate. And there's been some talk that they should outlaw in baseball. You know, people are always very reactionary. That they should outlaw the collision at the plate, make it illegal, which I completely disagree with. That's a clean baseball play. Cousins with the plate block, laying out.
Well, some people are saying that Cousins could have slid out behind going the other way.
Well, I mean, he could, but you know what? In that situation, when the plate is blocked, it's a good baseball play. And the Giants, you know, basically have said the same thing. Remember the big collision earlier this year, Justin Upton and Chris Ionnet at the plate. Clean baseball play.
And what are catchers taught, too? They're taught to show you part of the plate and then take it away. So to look at it that way, you know, Cousins was thinking that the plate's blocked, I have nowhere else to go. And he felt bad about it.
Oh, nobody wants, you know what, Jim Tracy was asked about it, Kirk Gibson was asked about it today. I'm sure every manager in baseball was asked about it, not only because you have a significant injury, but because of who it was to. It's a star player on a team that won the World Series last year. It's fouled off again by Dexter. It's 1-2. But the game has been played the same way for years. And I will tell you this, Matt Holliday's coming to town. We adore Matt Holliday. He is one of the game's best players. He plays the game hard. He plays the game right. But I still believe that on the most famous play in the history of the Rockies organization, he should have run over Michael Barrett instead of going head first with the slide. And
did he get it or not get it?
Obviously he did, because it was ruled that he did. But there are many people, especially in San Diego, as you and I well know, still debate whether he did. If he, you know, Barrett's blocking the plate, if he blows him up, he removes any doubt.
Right. In a game 163, a chance to go to the playoffs.
This ball's well hit center field. Chris Young will move over, though, and make the catch, and that's all for the inning. So on Toyota Talk, weigh in. You think it's a good baseball play, or would you like to see that part of the game changed and removed? On Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by the Colorado Lottery. Don't forget to play. We go to the top of the third inning. The Rockies at Diamondbacks scoreless. Hello there.
Hi.
Superman in the house. Willie Bloomquist Kelly Johnson, Justin Upton, top of the order to face Clayton Mortensen. It's actually the third team that Clayton Mortensen, who has a very brief big league career, has thrown a big league pitch for. St. Louis last year, Oakland last year, and now the Rockies this year. He was part of the Matt Holliday trade.
Yeah, to go to Oakland from St. Louis. And then this season, or this offseason, a kind of a minor league trade. You're thinking, okay, Clayton Mortensen, a little bit of big league time.
Nice play by Wigginton. And a good throw to help. Willie Bloomquist is out.
Well, Ty Wigginton's playing in just a little bit in case Willie Bloomquist tries to lay down a bunt, even with the bag. Two-hopper, slide to your right, get up and pick it up. The problem you have sometimes is once you pick this ball up and your hand goes down into the dirt, you've got a handful of dirt when you go to grab the baseball.
You think he's got some pine tar on the back of that glove?
Yes. Pine tar. I like to put some right on my palm and on the inside part of the glove where my fingers were, so my hand wouldn't slip.
This is a slow ground ball to second. Johnny will flip it sidearm for the second out. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. And Justin Upton, who hit a ground ball to Wigginton his first time, will step up. You know, going back to that debate, and we'll get into it, I'm sure, in the sixth inning again. One of the beautiful things, one of the many beautiful things for me about the grand game of baseball is that not much has changed through the years. They haven't had to mess with the rules, haven't had to say, well, guys are too fast now, let's move the bases 95 feet apart. That's chop foul. Guys are throwing too hard, we're going to move the mound from 60 feet 6 inches to 61 feet 6 inches. I mean, the last
Gibson's the only guy that really affected the mound.
Right, and
where they had to lower it.
It went from 16 to 10 back in after the '68 season, but that's over 40 years ago. And then the other notable quote-unquote rule change was the DH coming to the American League in the early 70s. Other than that, the game has not been messed with, and you and I are huge football fans. But look at the NFL. I mean, every year, then now they
rule change here, rule change there.
They may take kickoffs this year and move it up 5 yards because they're worried about the high-speed collisions.
I feel bad for Buster Posey. I feel bad for the Giants. I feel bad for baseball.
Yeah, it's one of the game's
one
great
of my
young
brethren.
stars.
One of the guys. I mean, there's a small fraternity of guys that played in the big leagues. You don't want to see any of your fellow players, past or present, get hurt. But you understand when you step out onto that field that there's a chance that you could be injured that night. But you take that chance.
This is a pop up to Johnny Herrera. Mortensen keeps fooling him. 3 very good innings so far. Get him some runs. Time for Excel Energy High Efficiency Inning, brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. You know what? Our man Clayton Morton's had a lot of these high efficiency innings this year. Weak ground ball after weak ground ball. A little pop up to end the inning off the bat of Justin Upton. And Mortensen busting it up the line is out by a step. On the play by Miguel Montero. 1 out.
He's still looking for his first big league hit. Clayton is, so I'll try to bunt.
I like it.
Why not?
I'll bring up Seth Smith. He'll take a few extra moments, allow Mortensen to get seated in the dugout.
Yeah, readjust the batting gloves, check the dirt a little bit, step back out. Maybe a practice swing. There we go.
Smith struck out in the first inning. And he takes strike one. Good located, well located pitch. And you never know with the hitters. He's shaking his head just at the strike calls. He's shaking his head. Why didn't I swing at that?
Sometimes it's a combination of both. Shaking your head because maybe you thought it was in, but you said, oh boy, that ball was coming in there. I saw it out of the hand, but the pitcher just was out. Let him catch his breath for a moment.
I'm sure you did that in your career. It was in your happy zone, and you're like, what am I doing? I didn't swing at that. That's my pitch.
It's called a brain cramp, where you just, what happened there? Why didn't I swing? And then you'll go home at night and you'll still have dreams about it. Wake up in the middle of the night, think about it in the morning. Get my point?
Yeah. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Seth Smith with 1 out in the third. Rockies have 1 hit. Johnny Herrera, who's on deck in the first, line to single to right center, would reach second base. And this ball in the air to Willie Bloomquist. So here comes Herrera.
Fans, the St. Louis Cardinals come to town tomorrow through Sunday. And remember, Saturday's game is a special start time of 5:10. Cardinals are already here after playing in San Diego. Saw their bags down in the storage area. Having a nice meal today here in Denver.
The schedule allows for that. Time to time, the Rockies were in one of those situations. I forget where we were recently, where day off, the club the Rockies were about to play were on the field. I think it was actually down in Miami. Marlins were playing. The Rockies had a day off. Good inning from Micah Owings. No score. The All-Star ballot and entered to win a trip to the All-Star game. Compliments the Scots. This year's All-Star game will be at Chase Field, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, Owens has been very good. Mortensen has been very good so far. Stephen Drew will lead things off in the fourth for the Diamondbacks. Chris Young and Miguel Montero to follow.
And just 42 pitches for Mortensen, 50 for Owens.
Arizona had a great scoring opportunity after a Wigginton error on what should have been a successful rundown. Comebacker. Rockies had Chris Young hung up, and then Wigginton's throw hit Young. Ultimately, the bases were loaded with one out, and Mortensen struck out Melvin Mora and Micah Owings back-to-back to get out of that mess in the second inning.
It was all preceded by the intentional walk to Miranda, and managers sometimes won't give that luxury to a young pitcher where they'll intentionally walk him to set up that force play early in the ball game because they don't want to put another runner out on base. Jim Tracy has the confidence in Clayton to do that.
He has the confidence, and he liked as much respect as Jim Tracy has for Melvin Mora, a guy that doesn't run super well anymore, and figures, if you get one on the ground, a real good chance right on right to get a double play. As it turns out, he got the strikeout.
You're also trusting your defense.
Sure.
To make the right play and the right decision.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Stephen Drew. Rockies lost yesterday 2-1. Ian Kennedy for Arizona went 8 innings. First career win against Colorado in 8 starts. Ball 4, so a leadoff walk for Stephen Drew. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question. Wilson Valdez, I don't know if you caught this. You probably didn't because the ball game went 19 innings last night. Wilson Valdez of the Phillies, who's usually an infielder, got the win last night for the Phils. They won 5-4 in 19 innings. Who was the last position player to get a win?
Wilson Valdez also had 3 hits last night.
Well, he was up 37 times.
They had a quick turnaround today, too, because it was a day game in Philly.
Philly won again. They made sure it wasn't close. 10-4 the final today. So the Cubs beat the Mets 9-3. And earlier, the Florida Marlins shut out the Giants 1-0. That's Anibal Sanchez again. Boy, he's had a great year. That Florida Marlins team, they're not going to go away. Now here's some more info on that win by Wilson Valdez last night. There have been 220 non-pitchers to pitch exactly 1 big league game during their careers. Valdez became the 95th pitcher to not allow an earned run. And there's a guy that did allow an earned run in our midst tonight. Former big league position player and a tremendous one. I'm not talking about Jeff Houston.
I never pitched in the big leagues. I never pitched or caught in the big leagues. Everywhere else I did.
But our buddy next door, Mark Grace, did. Later on in his career.
Yep. With Arizona.
With Arizona. Here's Gracie, naturally chewing the fat with Darren Sutton. And Gracie was telling us earlier, he said it was 19-0. We were on the wrong end. He went to Brentley because they were all out of pitchers. The only guy left was Byung-Young Kim, and he had pitched the day before. And he said, I throw a lot of BP. I can throw strikes. Not going to be real hard, but if you need somebody. So finally Brentley did.
Yeah, but how many times do you see a guy of Mark Grace's stature pitch in a big league game? I played behind Jose Canseco when he pitched in Boston when I was with the Texas Rangers. You remember what happened there? He blew out his elbow.
Well.
Yeah, he had to have Tommy John surgery.
Here's the difference, though. Gracie, at that point in time, was on the very back end of his career. Right. He said, I wasn't playing much at all. I think it was his final season. There's no way that would have happened in his prime in Chicago. Here's the 3-0. And that misses. So now you have 2 on and nobody out. Back-to-back walks, and here comes Bob Apodaca. Final footnote on the Grace story. I said, I know you looked up on the board to see how hard you were throwing. He said, yeah. He goes, I was working between 67 and 71. Topped out at 71.
He was a first baseman. He never had to worry about going out there and throwing. Long toss, stretching it out, do any of that sort of thing. He had to make sure he could get it to second base or back to the pitcher.
I said, did you throw anything but the heater? And he said, yeah. He said, I forget who it was doing. He said, I threw a changeup. He said, that was in like the 50s.
Well, that's like Wilson Valdez last night. He actually threw to Joey Votto.
Whoa.
So, I mean, he was able to get Joey Votto out.
That for hitters, it's coming in under the radar.
That's right. Sometimes it's bad to see a position player come in and pitch against you because everybody expects you to get a hit. And when you don't, there's some good old-fashioned ribbing going on.
Right now, Clayton Morton's is going to have to do some good old-fashioned pitching. 2 on, nobody out. Montero at the plate. And that misses.
This is uncharacteristic for Clayton.
All of a sudden, he can't find the strike zone. He's not missing by a lot. And he knows his MO is getting ground balls. If he can get one here, he can get 2 quick outs. Nobody's torn it up this series with runners in scoring position. Wow. Yeah, that's a bad miss. He looked back as if he felt uncomfortable with something pushing off. Here comes Tulowitzki.
I think it was more out of frustration for Clayton, where he was telling himself, keep that front shoulder closed. You're starting to fly open with it too much. Notice where the left shoulder will go more towards third base, really yanking off hard, leaving your arm behind. Your head falls where your shoulder goes. That's what he was telling himself. Get back on plane, driving towards home.
3-0 on Montero. Oh, this is odd. He's coming off an inning in which he threw a handful of pitches, got 2 quick ground balls and a pop-up. Top 3 in the order. Montero still could be swinging.
Well, I would say no only in that situation because he's thrown 7 straight balls. So 4 to Chris Young and 3 straight. You would hate to bail that pitcher out of a jam quickly when he's thrown that many balls in a row.
There's the cut Montero wanted to take on the previous pitch. It's 3-2.
But the difference was the location of the pitch. The 3-0 pitch right down the middle. This one was up in the zone. Tough for Montero to catch up to. Kirk Gibson has been very aggressive in this series with his base runners. Look for them to take off.
Well, Tulowitzki, because you have Montero, a pull hitter at the plate, is able to keep Drew pretty close. So he has been aggressive. I don't know if Drew's going to have enough of a lead to stay out of a strike him out, throw him out. They're not going, and this ball's lifted to deep right field. And it's going to get on out of here. 3-run home run, Miguel Montero. And those 2 walks, I need not tell you, extremely costly.
There's no defense against a walk, and you keep falling behind. Eventually, they're going to get you. Ball that was down to Montero. He knew it as soon as he hit it. That front foot gets locked in, collapses a little bit on that backside, but follows through.
Hey, for
There's
me,
really no doubt that that ball was out.
He's one of the best hitting catchers in baseball.
Oh, I would agree with that. And maybe it's because of the damage that he's done against the Rockies. Not only this year, but last year he's come up with big hits time after time again.
1 strike pitch to Miranda. sometimes guys, they think a lot now. Mortenson's he's hacked off at what happened and got 2 quick strikes on Miranda, and you're not even thinking about the fact that he couldn't throw a pitch over the plate the first 3 hitters. That'll be the first out. Coming into this ball game against Rockies starting pitching, the opposition has hit .233, which is the 3rd best mark in the National League. Soft line drive to third. Moore is retired. Only the Braves and Giants starting pitching has allowed a lower batting average. Mike Owens at the plate. He was caught looking his first time.
And that's one of the things that is so hard when you get good to great pitching, but not enough offense. You just have to look no further than what happened on that last road trip with 2 complete games by De La Rosa and Jimenez, and you come out of those 2 games with losses.
Gonzalez and Fowler. Dexter will take it. In the inning, there were 2 walks. Stephen Drew and Chris Young, and then on a 3-2 pitch, Miguel Montero hit it into the Rockies bullpen. 3-0 Diamondbacks. .3-0 Arizona on the 3-run home run by Miguel Montero. It'll be Cargo, Tulowitzki, and Helt. Let's check in with Mark Stout with tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold.
Hi, Drew and Jeff up here in the upper deck. I want to tell you the story about Sean Burrows. If you are a baseball fan, you know the name. His father, Jeff, was a big leaguer. Sean was the #9 pick in the draft in 1998 of the Padres and ended up playing a decent amount for San Diego. In fact, he started in 2002 when Petco Park opened up. And then after that, he kind of took a tailspin. In fact, he was out of baseball. He moved to Las Vegas with a girlfriend, packed up his car, moved there, said that he was in a rock bottom place, ballooned to 270 pounds, wasn't thinking about ball at all, called his agent 15 months ago and said, you know what, I need some integrity, I need to get back into baseball. His agent kind of laughed at him. Are you serious? He said, yeah. Are you around? Are you alive? Yes. And you know what Kevin Towers said? Come to the Diamondbacks, and here he is back in the big leagues with this Diamondbacks team. It can be done. He hit rock bottom. Now he's back with Arizona. It's a great story, guys.
It is. I still believe that Sean Burrows was the victim in his first part of his career of everybody comparing him to the great power his dad had.
Well,
because of a good hitter, he just wasn't a home run hitter.
Unfortunately got labeled with one of those things in baseball that's tough to shake. He was a good hitter, but playing a power premium position like third base, you have to put up big home run numbers.
Cargo fouls that back.
Kevin Towers knew of him back when he was with the Padres, gave him a second chance. Look how it's turned out. A lot of people were thinking that Sean was going to be sent back down the other day, but he stuck. And they ended up designated Josh Wilson.
He was just picked up by Milwaukee today.
Claimed off waivers.
This ball, a base hit to right. See if the Rockies now can counterpunch after giving up 3 last inning. A leadoff single for Carlos Gonzalez. Let's look back. Mark was doing that piece on Sean Burrows. Will you marry me in 3 years? That's the key. 98 Major League Draft, Pat Burrell out of the University of Miami went #1 to the Phillies. Mark Mulder, good left-handed pitcher. Corey Patterson, a guy you know well.
Around
yeah.
Toronto, I believe now.
Jeff Austin, it didn't work out. J.D. Drew, Stephen Drew's older brother. Ryan Mills didn't work out. Austin Kearns, Felipe Lopez, and then Burrows. And this ball's going to kick away, and Cargo's going to move up on a wild pitch by Mike Owings.
Well, in last night's ball game, Colorado was able to take advantage of the wild pitch to get the sacrifice fly off the bat of Todd Helton in the 4th inning. Let's see if they can do the same tonight.
Two 2-0 on Tulowitzki.
You really need to lower the focus right now for Troy. 2-0. Lower your focus into that one area that you're looking. They've been trying to pound you in, so if you're thinking in, take a pass at that, but if they work it away, just let it go.
And you know what? A single gets the Rockies on the board. Like that. Now Upton up with the baseball quickly. Here's his throw to the plate, and it's cut off. Base hit, Tulowitzki, 3-1 ball game. He went the other way. And the reason, you and I were discussing that is too many times the Rockies have said, man, I gotta think big here and just take a run at a time.
I've got to hit the 2-run home run. But let's single them or double them to death, whatever it takes. That ball was off the plate. But Troy, I talked about maybe looking for a ball in. Well, his thought process could have been just the opposite, that they're going to try to pitch me away now because they've come in a couple different times, and that's what he did. He took the ball, hit it the other way.
You know what that reminded me of? A guy that Tulowitzki admires a great deal, and a guy that he remains very close friends with, who helped him break in, Matt Holliday. You've seen Matt so many times, 2-0 count, 3-1 count, go the other way.
So if they're going to pitch you that way, don't try to pull something. I think the whole offense has been guilty of that in this last 2.5, 3 week span. Not taking what the pitcher gives you.
Todd walked his first time up. And it's 2-0.
Well, Todd in his career, 206 ball games against the D-backs, a .316 average. A lot of guys don't even get 206 games at the big league level. He's got it against one franchise. Oh, they got lucky.
Did that hit Mike Everett's foot?
Yes, it did.
Come on, Mike, move those size 11s out of the way.
With the steel toe on the end. Yep, caught the right foot of Mike Everett. Right off the glove. Oh, I'm sorry. It was the leg. I thought it was the foot. I still got him on the shin guard underneath the pants.
3-0 on Todd.
One thing the Rockies have not had many opportunities to do is to put runners in motion. Troy will go with Todd at the plate.
There he goes, and it's fouled off.
He did a 3-1. You'll do it with 3-2. Stephen Drew was covering the bag last time on that attempted steal by Troy. Keep an eye and see if he covers again and see if Todd can shoot that ball into left field.
Troy moving again, and this is in the air to shallow right. Upton flying in, and he drops the baseball, and it kicks it far enough away that Tulowitzki, who was headed back to first, could redirect and get to second. And the Rockies have 2 on and nobody out for Wigginton.
Todd was jammed on the ball from Micah Owings. Gilly Johnson goes back. Justin Upton comes in hard, has to slide, try to catch it with 2 hands real close to his body. With the effort, they give Todd a base hit. Troy, you're stuck as a base runner because you can't get too far away from first base in case Upton catches it. But that ball then, once it went off his chest, kicked far enough away that Troy then could go to second base, and you have first and second, nobody out.
Rockies with a run in here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 on, nobody out. Wigginton struck out looking his first time. Wigginton 1 for 4 yesterday, a double. 5 of his last 7 hits have gone for extra bases. Wigginton, a .379 career hitter against Arizona. Trying to raise that average right now. Double play ball. 2 outs, and Tulowitzki will go to third. Coming up in the 6th inning, Toyota Talk. We're soliciting your thoughts on some people's reaction to the very unfortunate injury to Buster Posey, calling for an elimination of collisions at the plate with the catcher. You can weigh in on that on Toyota Talk in the 6th inning. Chris Iannetta trying to pick up Wigginton off the end of the bat. Fly ball routinely hit to Bloomquist. The Rockies get 1. A moment ago, though, they had 2 on and nobody out. Brought to you by E470. Find E470 on Facebook for details on how to win free tolls. Here's the deal. Cardinals are here already, and the Rockies will begin that series against St. Louis tomorrow night. We're on the air at 6. Saturday is a nationally televised ball game. Sunday, we're on the air at 12:30 with the pregame show. Then it's off to Tinseltown. Rockies will take on the Dodgers. It's a 10-day road trip. They'll be in San Francisco and San Diego as well. A lot of games inside the NL West right now for the Rockies. They want to get to winning. They trail right now 3-1. As we go to the top of the 5th inning, Willie Bloomquist will lead it off, top of the order. And strike one on Willie. Rockies just 9-12 right now in the NL West. Last year they went 37-35 in the West. 17 out of the next 20 ball games are against National League West opponents. Dexter Fowler. One out, and that'll bring up Kelly Johnson. Time for an answer to our AT&T trivia question. Before Wilson Valdez last night for the Phils, who was the last position player to get a W?
It was 11 years ago, folks.
No Rocky fan should miss this.
Okay.
All right, Brent Mayne, August 22nd, 2000 against the Atlanta Braves. Some of the names in that ball game. That was not one of Maynard's better pitches that night. And back live, Dexter Fowler tracks that down, and Kelly Johnson is gone. So Brent Mayne got a win 11 years ago for the Rockies. Wilson Valdez joins that most exclusive club. The once a decade plus club, I guess, huh? Is that a Brent Mayne jersey in the house? It's hard to tell with that guy in front. Guy's got
Excuse me, sir, could you move just a little bit?
He has a long mane. And I think I see a Y, and I think I see an N and E. I think that is a Brent Mayne jersey. That's retro, huh?
That is straight old school.
You know, Mayne's dad was a coach. I assume Brent's coaching somewhere in Southern California, isn't he?
Well, if not a little league team, a high school team, giving private lessons, something.
Yeah, he's got to be. One fisted to left. Here comes Cargo. No, be able to make this catch. And he used, I think, his arms to keep the baseball in front of him. So it's a single for Upton. And now you know that groin that he strained a little bit a week ago is fine, because he came after this full gate.
Well, this was kind of like the ball that he originally hurt it in Philadelphia, where he started to go after it and then had to pull up. This time he went full bore, dove, able to knock the ball down and keep it in front of him. Justin Upton putting the sliding wrist guard on. Just because he's a big guy, don't be lulled to sleep. 8 stolen bases on the season, 3 in this series.
Well, the Diamondbacks have 7 in the series. That's more than the Rockies have this month.
The Rockies have 8 stolen bases. No stolen bases in the last 9 ball games.
Okay, I'm sorry, 1 less.
1 less, yeah.
Right.
D-backs have 7. Rockies have 8 the whole month of May.
Want to know on Stephen Drew.
Oh, he was leaning. Morrison's quicker to the plate than Jason Hamill was last night, or Betancourt, who allowed a stolen base.
Strike on Drew. It's 1-1. This free play brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Carlos Gonzalez last night robbing Stephen Drew of at least a double. Reminder to replay all your non-winning scratch tickets at ColoradoLottery.com. Second chance drawing. 2 outs. Upton at first, 3-1 Arizona. He takes off, and Ionetta's throw's not going to get him. Boy, if you're scouting, advanced scouting, this series for another club, Ionetta's thrown the ball very well this year. It's not about Chris. The Rockies pitching staff either hasn't held on Arizona well, or Arizona has done a very good job of running on off-speed pitches. But whatever the reason, that's a boatload of stolen bases in one series.
Well, the advanced scouts will take notice when they go to talking about it. St. Louis Cardinals coming to town and the Dodgers, they know that Arizona was able to take advantage. Chris on the year throwing out 26% of the base runners. But a lot of the ones he's had lately against Arizona here, it just hasn't been his fault because the time it's taken to deliver the baseball home, the jumps that the base runners are getting. It's more on the pitching staff than it is on the catcher.
Strike 3 on Stephen Drew. So Mortensen makes a pitch and prevents Upton from advancing any further. 3-1 Diamondbacks as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning at 20th and Blake. Had to know we were going to do that story tonight, huh?
She just wears it with pride.
Dexter Fowler at the plate out in front. Dexter hitting in the 8-hole tonight for the first time this year. He's been almost exclusively the Rockies' leadoff man. A couple of ball games now batting second earlier in the week.
We're just trying to shorten his swing a little bit from the left side. That's why they slid him down to the number 8 spot. Swings too long left-handed compared to his right-handed swing, which is his natural side.
One ball and 2 strikes on Fowler. Strike 3, and that is strikeout number 56 this year for Dexter in 49 ball games.
And that's part of the reason why he slid from that leadoff spot.
Well, heat up the bats. Here are the career averages in the left column for the Rockies lineup today and what they've hit in 2011. So green means they're above that. We'll show it to you again. There's a strike on Mortensen. Seth Smith, a 277 career hitter, is hitting 308. He's having a terrific season so far. Herrera is right around his career numbers. Then next in line, Gonzalez, who is basically 40 points below what he's established so far in his career. Tulowitzki 40 points below. Helton's hitting the ball well. I mean, he has such a high bar.
He's been the most consistent guy.
Right. He's at 311. You're certainly not going to complain about that, even though it's below his career numbers. Wigginton is almost 40 points below. Ionetta's 13 points below at 220. And Dexter Fowler is, close to 17, 18 points below his career numbers.
I think we saw a microcosm of the season, or the last 3.5 weeks, was back in that fourth inning. He had first and second, nobody out, double play, one pitch later, inning's over.
Mortensen pops it up. Miguel Montero is going to be called off by Miranda. 2 outs. Right now, you're closing in on a third of the way through the season, and we've done some promos for all-star balloting, and the conversation will really start to heat up in a week or two, where you start assessing who's deserving of going to the all-star game. Last year the Rockies sent Ubaldo Jimenez. He started the game naturally. I mean, he's 15-1 at the all-star break. They sent Troy Tulowitzki, who couldn't participate because he had gotten hit on the hand, on the wrist with a pitch. Miguel Olivo was deserving. Carlos Gonzalez was in the conversation. I mean, there were 4 guys that you could make a very sturdy case for. Right now, to give you an idea, the Rockies are 500, but how guys have underachieved. There's not one Rocky that you could say, hey, this guy's really deserving of being an all-star right now.
Just looking at the numbers, maybe Houston Street with the 14 saves.
But there are guys ahead of him that you would take if you're looking at closers.
No, I understand that. I'm just showing some names out there. Todd Helton, but there's a lot of great first basemen in the National League.
This ball's driven to right field and deep. Did Smith get it? Oh. Run down in the corner by Upton. Nice running catch by Justin Upton. And that puts down the 5th inning. 3-1 Arizona. Arizona leading 3-1 as we go to the 6th inning. Time for tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Mike Owings is topped out at 88. Clayton Mortensen 89. You won't see this very frequently in Major League Baseball. 2 starting pitchers, both working below 90 miles an hour. It's brought to you by the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. Chris Young, a double and a walk. He has scored a run out in front of the off-speed pitch. Young, Montero, and Miranda here in the 6th. Mortensen gave up a 3-run home run in the 4th to Miguel Montero. That wasn't the sin. The sin was walking the first 2 guys of the inning. This is going to be a tough chance for Wigginton, and he's not going to be able to get Young. An infield hit for Chris Young.
And the only choice that Wigginton had was to come in and barehanded. The ball was not going to go foul. If it stays on the grass, it's going to stay there. If it would have kicked to the dirt, then your option is to let it go foul, because you know you're not going to be able to get Chris Young. And now we'll see if Clayton can be a little quicker to the plate to help Chris, and if they do take off and go.
Again, 8 stolen bases in this series for Arizona.
Yeah, 9 attempts coming into the series. They were just shy of 69% success ratio.
Montero hit a home run his last at bat, his first home run in the month of May.
But see how jittery they have everybody now? Chris coming up firing.
Just hard baseball. How would you stop it anyhow? Let runners just score?
No, they would. You would have to slide into the catcher that's blocking the plate.
My question for you, Jeff, after this pitch, I'll give it to you now. If it's not Buster Posey or a player that is a budding superstar,
former Rookie of the Year,
is this as big a conversation today?
Not at all. I don't think so. If it's a journeyman catcher, a guy maybe just called up from AA or AAA that it happened to, you'd be like, oh, that's too bad for that young man. It's too bad for Buster Posey. We're not saying that at all, folks. You feel bad about that, but to me, maybe I'm old school. I say it's part of the game. It's been part of the game. They're blocking the plate. I've had to run over catchers before, and I've come out on the bad end of it. You know, what happens if Cousins goes in, he separates his shoulder, Posey comes out okay? Would we be having this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point also, because Posey's a lot better known than Cousins.
Yeah, exactly.
Posey's injury is sad, but if you don't want to get hit, move. It's part of the game. And I think it should be part of the game. And the Giants, who are, obviously devastated by it, I mean, they said as much after. Bruce Bochy, their manager, is a former catcher. Now, he is one of the folks who said that catchers are really exposed and we should investigate changing the rule. But again, I mean, those were the comments of a manager
and an agent,
and also an agent, but a manager shortly after he lost, maybe his most important position player. There goes the runner. It's fouled off, so Young will come back.
Just think in the span of about 48 hours how the dynamics of this division went from De La Rosa being out, Buster Posey being out.
A couple of big names. Big blows to two teams that have their sights set on winning the NL West. 2-2's fouled off. Chris Iannetta was asked about it today. Said it's clean play.
We talked to Marv Foley, former catcher himself, who's out in the bullpen for the Rockies. Said the same. He was knocked out in a collision at home plate.
Double-A. They're the division standings. Again, the Giants lost 1-0 again today to Florida. Mortensen keeps going in, down and in, and Montero keeps fouling it off. I have not read one comment from our fans on Toyota Talk saying that they think that a rule change is in order.
A lot to keep it the way it is. It's part of baseball.
You know, you were talking about Mark Foley, who was an excellent teacher of the fundamentals of catching. And he said it's really important that that left foot, when you're blocking the plate, that it's open and not closed, and you don't let it get caught up underneath you.
Chris Iannetta, when he was hit by Justin Upton earlier this year at home, did exactly that. He had his foot, and then you could see it. As soon as he's getting hit, it come out of the ground, and he kind of spins with the throw.
Runner going in the air to Fowler. Dexter will fire to first, but Young will get back. 1 out.
And that was the bad thing with Buster, is the way he was. You want to get lower than the runner, but his legs were already in a bad angle when he got hit. He didn't have an opportunity to spin, absorb a little bit of the collision, and get out of the way.
Juan Miranda at the plate, 0 for 1 and an intentional walk. See if Young goes first pitch here. He started to, pulled it back. High fly ball down the right field line. Smith will not have a play.
And the infielders right now have to make sure that they are pointing to where a ball might be for the outfielders because of the sky. That ball went up a little bit. It gets up towards the light standards, and you end up losing it. Jonathan Herrera was pointing that whole way to Seth Smith. He got the break on it. Make sure you stay with it and help those guys out. How about that, Drew? Did you see that?
There's two of them, yeah. To your point, you know, would we be having the conversation if it was someone not as notable as Buster Posey? And again, it's awful. Just because, you know, we all follow the Rockies and the Giants are the rivals in the division. I mean, you're sick for Buster Posey. He's a tremendous young player. You don't want to see anybody get hurt.
He's good for the game.
He's great for the game. He is great for the game. But the bottom line is, the question is, should there be a rule change because of it? And we both emphatically say no. The game is just fine. It's always been an exciting part of the game.
It's going to be interesting to see what Joe Torre's take on it is, because the agent appealed to Joe Torre. And Joe's
a former
catcher.
Two strikes on Miranda, and a pitch out, and the throw to second goes into center field. And Young pops up. He'll go to third. First error of the year on Chris Iannetta. It skipped under the glove of Tulowitzki, so it goes as a stolen base, and an error on Iannetta, allowing Young to move to third, and they had it right.
Yeah, Tommy Runnels is the man in charge of the running game. He called it.
That airborne still?
Yeah, it does not hit the ground. Well, I guess it did, just right there as he was sliding into it. Unfortunate for Chris.
1 and 2 on Miranda. As we said, the first error for Chris this year. Miguel Montero has 8 of them, which is hard to imagine. Here's Mortensen trying to, Huey, do something that he doesn't do a lot of, and that's trying to get the strikeout.
He has to in this instance. With the infield in, you're looking for that strikeout. Good speed from Chris Young. If it's a high chop or something off the front part of the plate or the dirt, he could read it and go with the lead 3-1.
3-2. Rolled foul. You know who just weighed in on this? An old friend of ours, Jamie Quirk, who was a longtime catcher in the big league, spent almost 2 decades. Now the bullpen coach in Kansas City, bench coach for Clint Hurdle for many years here. And
great man.
Yeah, tremendous man. And he just sent a little text our way and said, you know what? Don't mess with anything having to do the rules with collisions at the plate. And that man caught a lot of baseball games.
Been in baseball a long time.
3-2, strike 3. So Mortensen fans Miranda for the second out, with Chris Young standing at third base.
And he got him with a slider. Up, just locked him up. And Clayton's fortunate with the slider up in the zone that it was able to get Miranda, and he didn't swing at it. Now here's where it's different with Micah Owings hitting behind Melvin Mora. If it's maybe some other pitcher, you would pass on Mora to get to the pitcher, but you can't because of the way Micah swings.
One ball, one strike on Melvin Mora. Mora ground ball to third, under the glove of Ty Wigginton. Here comes the 4th run for the Diamondbacks, and Mora is going to try for 2, and he's out. Great throw by Carlos Gonzalez. Not a guy you run on, but Mora drives in Arizona's 4th run. And that stolen base ends up being really costly. 9 stolen bases allowed by the Rockies in this series. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Colorado Hyundai. Don't miss Hyundai's season of sale going on now at your Colorado Hyundai dealers. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by Jack in the Box, right now get the new Bourbon Barbecue Steak Grilled Sandwich at participating restaurants. Rockies trailing 4-1 as they come to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Rockies are run on just 4 hits tonight, and they've committed a couple of errors, trying to avoid falling under 500 for the first time since opening day when they lost 7-6 in 11 innings to these Diamondbacks. Johnny Herrera, Carlos Gonzalez, and Troy Tulowitzki. And a new pitcher, Aaron Heilman, is out there now for Arizona. Mike Owings goes 5 innings.
Kirk Gibson must be thinking that he got enough out of Owings. He wants to turn it over to the bullpen. Aaron Heilman came in the other night in the ball game, that first game of the doubleheader, through 1 inning, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, including a home run to Carlos Gonzalez.
2-1 on Herrera. So Owings goes 5 innings, gives up a run on 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 3. This ball pulled to first, 1 out. Today's minor league report is presented by Suzuki Autos all-wheel drive lineup. Suzuki, the power of engineering. Down on the farm, Chris Nelson continues to swing the bat very well. Former #1 pick of the Rockies, 3 for 5 yesterday in a 7-6 10-inning loss. Couple of doubles, couple of ribs. Brian Reich, 3 for 5 in Tulsa, 4 RBIs, and he hit a bomb. Slugfest won by the Drillers. Now rolling, a big man, 3 for 5, and Bryce Masanari hit another home run. We're talking to Rockies catching instructor, Marvelous Marv Foley, earlier about Masanari.
A guy that has 2 above tools.
This ball is driven to deep left, and it slices foul.
We'll go back to Bryce for a moment. He's got an above average arm and above average power. 2 out of the 5 tools. You got to work with it and see what you have.
A little older for the South Atlantic League because he was a 4-year college player at Georgia. He was not a junior sign.
Those 2 tools are good no matter what level you're at.
Yep.
It just means you're going to probably have to advance a little bit quicker.
0-2. Gonzalez hit in the 4th inning. He has scored the Rockies' only run. Went the second on a wild pitch, scored on a base hit by Tulowitzki. And Gonzalez strikes out for out number 2 in the 6th inning.
Fans, you can ask about the Rockies' sweet 6-pack deal and take advantage of savings of up to 40% off the regular price. Call 303-312-2444 for more information.
Rockies lost 2-1 last night. They had only 7 hits. They're down 4-1 tonight. And Tulowitzki lays down a bunt, and at first base, what a play by Miguel Montero. He realized that was not going to go foul. He said, I'm going to jump on it and see if I can get him. That was a tremendous play.
I thought no way he was going to be able to make this. He gets it, spins, and throw him out by a half step.
Melvin Morris saying, let it go foul. Terrific throw by Miguel Montero. He just sensed it wasn't going to go foul. And then he also sensed that he had a shot.
But how about the arm strength to fire it all in one motion, and the stretch by Miranda. And he was out.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I thought looking at it real speed, there wasn't a doubt. But I liked your description, though, because Melvin Moore was trying to say, no, he's let it go foul.
Rockies have made a double switch. Ryan Spilborghs is in for Seth Smith in right field. Matt Daly's on the hill. Well, you know what? It's a straight up switch, at least on the scoreboard right now. I wonder if Smith did something
wrong with Seth Smith, maybe on that foul ball down the line where he had to run so far for it. And it is just straight up because Spilborgh's on the lineup card in the dugout.
And you wouldn't gain much even if, you know, in a double switch type of thing. And Smith, it was 2 innings ago that he hit. So something must have happened to Seth Smith. That's all the Rockies need.
And now up for the Diamondbacks, Sean Burrows.
He's pinch hitting for Heilman. Looking for his first hit since returning to the big leagues.
Yeah, 0 for 8.
In 4 years. One and two. Matt Daly working to Burrows. So Mortensen goes 6 innings. He allows 4 runs on 5 hits. He walks 3 in the ball game, and he strikes out 5. 2 of the walks in particular really hurt him. Only 1 inning really. 4th inning, he walked Stephen Drew. He walked Chris Young on 4 pitches. He fell behind Montero 3-0. As you look at Jorge De La Rosa, good to see Jorge with a smile on his face after what happened a couple of days ago. And then he gave up. After battling back to get a 3-2, he gave up a 3-run home run to Montero.
And right now, it's a little bit difference between the 2 ball clubs, where the Diamondbacks have been able to come up with that big hit. After the walks, you get the home run. Hard to imagine that De La Rosa must have elbow surgery. He's out shagging again today. Looks like he has his wrist taped up too.
He's sitting with Esmil Rogers. Here's the 3-2, and this is fisted into center field for a base hit. A leadoff single for Burrows, and there's his first knock since 2006. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Willie Bloomquist at the plate.
With the lead now, Gibbs can play this a few different ways, do some hit and runs. A very aggressive manager. It's the way he played the game too.
Yeah, I don't see Sean Burrows straight steal.
No, he's not going to straight steal, but it may hit and run. You're up by 3 runs. Try to tack on another run when you've got Kelly Johnson, Upton, and Drew coming up. Talk about a guy in Kirk Gibson, though, was not afraid to take a guy out at second base. He's talking about the couple collisions he had at home plate with
Pat Borders. Was the biggest one he said he had. Ty Wigginton is playing third for the Rockies tonight.
Got
it. Oh, very close. Burrows nearly got picked off there by Daly.
Can't do much more than what they were doing to Burrows. He did get his hand just back on the bag before Todd tagged him on the elbow, but he was leaning.
Yeah, good call by Mike Malinsky. Yeah, Wigginton hit Coy Hill when he was with the Diamondbacks. Clean play. And broke the ankle of Coy Hill.
Arizona's moved up now into second place in the National League in stolen bases with 44, trailing only the Padres. Moved ahead of the Mets.
Two and one. Last big league hit for Sean Burrows, May 3rd, 2006, with Tampa against the New York Yankees. More than 5 years ago. I erroneously said 4.
Well, if they're going to hit and run, now's the time to do it.
There goes Burrows, and the pitch is fouled off. You know, with the Rockies offense in such a miserable place right now, you're going to face enough good pitching in the National League West where you have to tip your cap to the Tim Lincecums, the Clayton Kershaws, the Matt Cains of the world. And again, with all due respect to anybody that reaches the big leagues, the Micah Owings, you hope that you're able to get after a little bit.
Well, and well under 500 in his career and a lot of starts at the big league level.
This is a guy that was just called up from Reno. This is in the air to center. Is it going to die? Nope. Good running catch by Fowler.
Hey, if you're looking for a unique place for your special event, make sure you check out Coors Field. Call 303-ROCKIES to book your event today. You're just looking at the upcoming probable pitchers that the Rockies are going to face. Jake Westbrook, Jaime Garcia, Kyle Loesch, and Ted Lilly. To your point, Drew, that there's a couple names. Jaime Garcia 5-0 with a 193. Loesch 6-2, 206.
Kelly Johnson 0 for 3. 1 strike count. And a 2-strike count now on Johnson. Kelly Johnson, when the Diamondbacks played Atlanta recently, took a ride to the ballpark with his old friend Chipper Jones. And Chipper counseled him. It was more a less mechanical conversation, according to Kelly, and more about the mental side of the grind of going to the plate every day, getting 4 at-bats. No better guy to listen to, I'm sure, in the game of baseball than Chipper Jones.
And
he knows Johnson well.
Yeah, and he's seen him for a number of years and saw him when he was young and tutored him all those years in Atlanta. But Matt Daly was able to get him with the 79-mile-an-hour changeup. But you need those type of guys that you can rely on to help you through the rough patches. There's a lot of rough patches in this game. You stay in it long enough. Justin in his career 1 for 6 against Matt with 4 strikeouts.
Two-strike count. I want to correct something I said earlier. I'm so used to saying Jamie Quirk with Kansas City because he played there for so long, good portion of his career. Jamie works in Houston with the Astros. You heard from Jamie earlier.
A well-respected baseball man.
And no question. 2-strike count on Upton with Burrows at first. Swung on and missed. So Matt Daly a couple of punch outs. Stretch time at Coors Field. Rockies trailing by 3. Let's take a look at our Cooney Lexus look back. It's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Broadway in Littleton. Miguel Montero after 2 walks, 3-2 pitch, and he hit it out. And that gave Arizona a 3-0 lead. The Rockies would get a run after Tulowitzki singled home Carlos Gonzalez. Gonzalez had singled and moved to second on a wild pitch. And then in the 6th inning, Melvin Moore is going to bounce one past a diving Ty Wigginton, with Chris Young at third base. He was trying to stretch it into a double. That's all the scoring tonight. Again, our Cooney Lexus look back. 4-1 Arizona, bottom of 7. Todd Helton will lead off. Esmerling Vasquez is now in the ball game for the Diamondbacks.
The Rockies saw Vasquez the other day in the first game of the doubleheader on Tuesday. A couple strikeouts.
This ball driven to right, and it is a foul ball.
Oh. Todd had his bat the whole way.
Nobody knows better than the hitter.
How close was it? About a foot, if that far. Vasquez this winter changed his arm angle a little bit more, went a little higher with it and junked the slider, went to more of a traditional curveball to make sure that he was up on top of the baseball.
I'm going to address that graphic we just showed you in a moment. Here's the 2-1, 3-1. Throw that graphic up again. The Rockies in the month of May have scored 2 runs or less 10 times. They've scored 3 runs in a game on 3 other occasions. So that's 13 times that they've scored 3 runs or less in a baseball game for a team that, you know, again, on paper, offensively, you think is going to be one of the top offensive teams in the National League. It has been a difficult stretch, but the problem is, you know, you're going to go through them. This one has been far more protracted than anybody could imagine.
And the other thing, too, is you've played a lot of these games here at Coors Field where you're just 12-12 on the season. You had an 8-game homestand. You went 4-4 on that. You're sitting right now on the backside of this one. Possibly lose 3 out of 4. Still some outs to go. But the point being, at Coors Field is a place historically where you've won a lot of ball games. Last year was 50-51 games you won here at Coors Field.
Yeah, you're losing opportunities. Rockies won 52-29 last
52,
year.
yeah, shorted them a win.
Coming into tonight, they're exactly 12-12 at home, 12-12 out on the road. And of course, on the road, they got off to the fabulous start. One and one on Wigginton. Strikeout and a 6-4-3 double play. Call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com if your windshield has issues. And the Rockies score 4 more in a game this year, by the way. They are 20-5. And their pitching's been outstanding. That bat's no good anymore. Wiggins says, give me another. So you're not talking about, boy, you know, pitching's been rough. You really hope the offense goes out and throws up 6 or 7. That's going to be the only way they're going to win. No, I mean, you get 4 the way the rotation is gone.
Well, there's been a couple hiccups out of the bullpen, but you know, over a course of a season, that's going to happen as well.
The bullpen was lights out the first few weeks of the season. And you can't forget that. They're going to have their hiccups, as you say. 2-2 on Wigginton. Helton at first, nobody out. 4-1 Arizona, bottom of 7. This ball toward the hole on through. Base hit, Ty Wigginton. And the Rockies will get the tying run to the plate. Chris Iannetta.
Wanted a ball away from Wigginton, and it went back down and into him. Couple hopper through the hole between short and third. And this is where if he could have kept him off the board back in the 6th inning, you could think about bunting a guy to try to get a couple guys into scoring position, knowing that the pitcher spot's 2 doors down where you could pinch hit for Matt Daly. But instead, you let Chris swing away.
This ball is foul. Numbers for Chris with runners in scoring position. Rockies, over their last 24 innings, have scored 4 runs after erupting for 12 in the first game of this series, that afternoon ball game on Tuesday.
And that's when you thought, okay, that the worm is kind of turned and we're going to start rolling now. And it didn't happen.
0-2 on Iannetta. Wow. That was close. 1-2. In fact, it was so close, the Ford strike zone said it was right where the first 2 pitches were. Mike Everett
take advantage of it, though. You're going to catch a break, you have to use it to your advantage.
That's away. 2-2. Dexter Fowler on deck.
tonight with runners in scoring position for the Rockies, just 1 for 4. Right over the head of the guys in the dugout.
No word yet on Seth Smith as to why he left the ball game. You felt it may have been when he had to chase that ball down in the right field corner that was foul.
Hope it's not a hamstring or something like that.
And now it's 3-2.
If it gives any indication, yeah, it was on that. Looks like it was on that ball anyway. Grimacing.
Yeah, he's favoring. You know, you didn't notice it watching initially, but he definitely was kind of semi-limping. 3-2, 2 out, nobody out. Strike 3 on the inside corner, and Ionetta's gone.
In the same location, even though they wanted that ball out. It was in, but right at the knees, and it was a strike. Just by the way Miguel Montero caught the ball, made it look like it was out of the zone. Instead of turning the wrist over the other way and framing it in towards the plate, he caught it going away.
Looks like Marfoli. Want that sinker caught thumb up.
Thumb up instead of thumb down.
Trying to take it out of the strike zone if you do it that way. 1 out, Fowler with Alfredo Amezaga on deck. Pitcher spot is next. Again, for the first time this year, Fowler's hitting in the 8th spot in the lineup.
He is hitting .371 with runners in scoring position. Which is 7th best in the National League.
Ball and a strike on Dexter. Matt Lindstrom. Rockies can battle back and win. They move ahead of the Diamondbacks in the division. I know it's the end of May,
so that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And you move within 2 of the Giants, who were just swept by the Florida Marlins. Lost earlier today, 1-0.
And you keep the D-backs from taking a series from you.
In your ballpark.
Right.
3-1.
All those things matter right now. You say it's May 26th. It's not September 20th. It doesn't matter to me. You're always trying to win and put that good frame of mind as you move forward into your next series.
Day to day, when you were playing, did you know the standings?
Yes, every day.
Way inside. Ball 4, and now the bases are loaded, and Alfredo Amezaga is being called back, and right here, right now, Jim Tracy's going to play the Giambino card.
And why not? Use it right now. Don't wait till the 9th inning. Vasquez has been all over the place. He has a live fastball, but Jason, the way he's been hitting lately with his home runs, putting good swings. Play the card that you have in your back pocket if you're Jim Tracy right now. be the first time that Jason Giambi has faced Esmerling in his career. But Jason, in his career with the bases loaded, 300 hitter with 14 grand slams.
First at bat this year with the bases loaded for Giambi. And some folks down low want to record this at bat. Some of the phone cameras were out. 1 out, bases jammed. Rockies trailing 4-1. This is an adrenaline rush situation for a guy that has always thrived on these type of situations. For most of his career, obviously, he was getting 4 at-bats every day. He's always wanted the bat late in the ball game. Fouled off, it's 0-2. Spilborghs is on deck. At third base, Helton, he walked. Wigginton is at second, he singled. And Dexter Fowler, after the strikeout of Chris Iannetta, walked. Rockies a run on just 5 hits. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 4-1.
Tough one to lay off when you're 0-2. Try to get you to chase the fastball just out of the strike zone.
You know, earlier we showed you that the Diamondbacks hitting well over 400 with the bases loaded this year. The Rockies are 7 for 33, just a .212 batting average. 1-2. Broken bat, fly ball to center field. It's going to get a run home. Here comes Helton, 4-2. As Giambi gets the sac fly.
Let's go back and look to see how Vasquez and Montero worked Giambi this at bat. First pitch to Jason was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Out and away from him, he fouls it off. Another 94-mile-an-hour fastball fell behind 0-2. Took the high 193 and then goes back to the 94 off the end of the bat, but it was a sac fly to climb within 2 runs.
So here's Ryan Spilborghs, first at bat for Spilborghs. He stepped into the ball game last inning for Seth Smith. And he had a pitch out over the plate to hit. You've seen Ryan drive that ball over the right center field wall a number of times in his career. He's got a lot of power toward right center field.
I think he has more power that way than he has on the pull side.
You could be right. This ball up the middle, base hit. Here comes Wigginton around third. Fowler will go first to third. Rockies within a run. Ryan Spilborghs coming through.
We talk about staying centered. Well, that's what Ryan did with the ball. Away from him just a little bit, not much. They wanted to go inside more so he could keep his arms from getting extended, but he stays through it, drives it past Stephen Drew at shortstop, allowing Ty Wigginton to score, and also Dexter to go to third base.
Johnny Herrera 1 for 3, tying run at third. Herrera fouls it straight back.
One of the rare times that you'll see Jonathan Herrera fire at the first pitch.
Chopped to third. And Mora will throw to Miranda. In the inning, the Rockies come up with 2. They've tightened things up considerably. Well, ever wonder who the starting pitcher is going to be, or if your favorite player is going to be in the lineup? We'll let you know with the Root Sports Red Alerts. Text the word alerts to 720-720 to get a Rockies update straight to your phone. Message and data rates may apply. Matt Lindstrom's now on the hill in the 8th inning. Stephen Drew, Chris Young, Miguel Montero for Arizona. Rockies trailed 3-0 and 4-1. Giambi a sac fly. Spilborg's an RBI single. It'll be the 24th appearance for Matt Lindstrom.
And he'll take the team lead as far as that goes from the hands of Matt Belisle, who has 23 appearances. Came in the second game of the doubleheader 2 nights ago against Arizona. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, only 11 pitches during that game.
Slider on the corner, 0-2. And the Rockies trying to wipe out the 3-run deficit. Do something nobody else has been able to do to Arizona this year, Huey. Hand them a loss when they lead after 7. They're 18-0 when they carry a lead to the 8th inning.
Perfect time tonight to do that.
Right at Todd Helton. He'll put out the glove and he'll beat Stephen Drew to the bag.
Hey, all fans. Tomorrow, Rockies rewards against the St. Louis Cardinals. Call 1-800-388-ROCK or go online to ColoradoRockies.com. Get your tickets to this game there. And all fans will receive Rockies reward coupons.
Chris Young, a single, a walk, and an infield single. He scored 2 runs tonight. Here's the 1-1 from Matt Lindstrom. 1-2. One of the differences in this game, and again, we talk about it every night, 1-run games, small things. 0-2 pitch, and the Rockies nail it. They pitch out, and the throw's airborne. It's low, but it's airborne. It would have nailed Chris Young, and Tulowitzki, you played the middle infield, he needs to come get that.
Yeah, just a half step more where he goes and catches that and let the guy then slide into him. But that one runner's coming in, he just didn't reach quite far enough. It goes off his glove. So instead of being the third out of the inning, then he goes to third base hit, scores. Same thing that happened last night. Lead off air instead of being out of the inning on a Mezika when he led off that inning, made an error. Chris Young gets the base hit, so the runs were unearned.
And of course, then you go back and you're going to walk people, but Mortensen, who's had very good control and was cruising along, inexplicably walks the first two guys in the fourth inning, and then he gives up the bomb.
You know what? But
to Montero.
In one-run games, the little things, those are really determines whether you're going to win or going to lose.
High fly ball to center field. Fairly well hit, but Fowler will make the catch. Dexter's been busy out there. That's I think that's his 7th put out of the ball game. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're right.
5, 6, 7. Times, of course, like cold hard blasts. Miguel Montero on a 3-2 pitch. Mortensen jumped about 4 feet in the air. He knew it. To the back of the Rockies bullpen, 3-0 at the time. Arizona. It was Montero's 5th home run of the year. And he slices this one to left for a hit. Rockies in the 8th inning will have Cargo, Tulowitzki, and Helt. You assume it'll be David Hernandez.
That's usually the way that Kirk Gibson will play it. Hernandez in the 8th, JJ in the 9th.
Juan Miranda, an intentional walk in the 2nd, fly ball to center, and a strikeout. That's off his foot. Well, you know what? It's not Hernandez. Micolayo, and of course the left-hander's Patterson. And if it is Patterson, now here comes Hernandez. They may go mix and match. They may go Patterson to face Gonzalez
and Tulowitzki.
Well, you got Helton behind him,
but what I'm saying is maybe go Hernandez for the first couple guys, and then see where it's at to see if you need to go Patterson to help.
We'll find out in a matter of moments. 4-3 Arizona. Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Rockies spotted Arizona 3 runs in the 4th. They got a run on Tulowitzki's single in the 4th inning, and then got 2 in the 7th off of Esmerling Vasquez to make it 4-3. Clayton Mortensen went 6 innings. Micah Owings went 5. Mortensen right now on the hook in this ball game, and it is Patterson initially to face Carlos Gonzalez. So the left-handed specialist, the only lefty in Arizona's bullpen, is in. Gonzalez is 1 for 3.
Maybe Kirk Gibson figures with 2 out of the 3 guys that are due up this inning being left-handed, I'm going to use my only lefty out of the pen now. Xavier Nady's gone into first base. Double switch.
Look at. So you know what, and we'll find out. I think it's just for Gonzalez. I think
it could be.
I think he wants Hernandez to face Tulowitzki, and ultimately Helton, who will be third. I think this is a 1-batter situation, but could be very wrong on that. Fouled off. That's 1 and 2.
Patterson's interesting because I'm not sure that his foot is in contact with the rubber where he starts. He's so far off the first base side. That's what makes him so tough on left-handed batters.
Well, let's see if Kirk Gibson makes a move here. Tulowitzki coming up. He's talking to him from a distance, so evidently not.
Well, just go talk to him. Take your time to maybe buy a few more pitches for Hernandez out in the bullpen.
Oh, okay, that's what's going on. I thought he was saying something Patterson. He was talking to Miguel Montero. And here comes Gibson.
He probably got another good 8 to 10 throws during that time.
What was a little unclear for me, because the Diamondbacks were already hitting last half inning. Nicolao was up. I mean, if this is the way you wanted to go, why was Hernandez not up initially also?
I don't know. Maybe there was a miscommunication somehow out in the bullpen because he got up late. But there was enough time for him to get ready because he's a relief pitcher.
And this is what he's been doing all year. He's been handling the 8th inning.
8th inning guy.
1 out when we come back. The 8th, Troy Tulowitzki face David Hernandez. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Don't throw away your non-lucky scratch tickets. Replay every ticket and second chance drawing at coloradolottery.com. Earlier in the ball game, the Rockies scored their first run. Cargo had singled, moved up to second on a wild pitch, brought home on that sharp single by Tulowitzki, his 30th RBI of the year. Second on the club to Gonzalez's 31. Tulowitzki hitting .275 against lefties. He's come down considerably. .233 against righties. Another reason I'm sure that you see Hernandez now back on the mound in his customary 8th inning role. One pitch and he's going to get an out. Helton will come up with 2 outs.
First pitch slider from Hernandez. It's kind of unusual, that big of discrepancy for your 8th inning guy. He's better against left-handers than he is righties.
Here's the 1-0 to Todd, and a ground ball up the middle. Drew's got time. And a 1-2-3 8th inning. So the Rockies' thick part of the order go quickly and quietly in the 8th. Downtown Denver, the Rockies still struggling on offense. We've arrived at the top of the 9th inning, and the Diamondbacks are in front by a run. Check in with Tom Helmer for what's to come after the ball game. Tom?
Drew, how about a walk to remember? A couple of walks given up in that 4th inning. The Miguel Montero hit that home run. Those walks have been costly. Also a 1-run conundrum. The Rockies are 6-11 in 1-run games this season, and that's after winning 5 of their first 7 1-run games. We'll see how tonight plays out. As always, we'll be down in the clubhouse after the ball game with post-game reaction. Drew?
All right, Tom. Yep, Rockies have lost 9 of their last 10 1-run affairs. Houston Street hasn't had opportunities to save ball games lately. He'll throw here in the 9th inning tonight. Melvin Mora will lead it off.
A chance to get Houston some work. The last time he appeared in the game was back on the 20th against Milwaukee. Game, unfortunately, second blown save of the season.
Well, the only game the Rockies have won the last week, it was a 12-4 ball game. You don't need your closer.
You don't need your closer in. But he needs to get out there in case you need him tomorrow or the next day.
Mora fouls it off. Xavier Nady is on deck. Ball and a strike on Mora.
The toughest part for Houston without being out on the mound in 6 days is having your control. For a pitcher that relies on pinpoint control.
Needs to have it. 1 and 2.
Has to have it. You do all the side work, all the flat ground work you want, but then the adrenaline starts to flow. Do your mechanics stay sound when that happens?
Good pitch. He strikes out Melvin Morrow. 1 out in the 9th inning. Well, fans, if you like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Right now, if the Rockies score 7 or more in a game, you're going to hear horns honking all over town. In addition to the line outside Taco Bell.
We had it the other day in the doubleheader. Take it again tomorrow.
Strike 1 on Nady. Off the bench tonight, started the first 3 ball games of this series. Nady 3 for 12, 3 RBIs in this series. And another Diamondback who's thrown out a stolen base in this series. 9 bags.
Out of 10.
9 out of 10. Wow.
In a 4-game set. And think about this now. In one game, they didn't have any.
That's a base hit. And at the top of the order, Willie Bloomquist. Here's something else that's somewhat unusual. The Diamondbacks, Huey, leading 4-3 in the top of the 9th inning. The first 4 guys, excuse me, the first 3 guys in their, the first 4 guys in their lineup are a combined 1 for 15 and a walk.
Typically, you're thinking, oh, we're going to be on the good side of things when that happens, because that's why they're hitting at the top of the lineup. Justin Upton with the base hit, and Stephen Drew with the walk. That's the only 2 times that these guys have been on base.
7 hits for the Rockies last night. 6 hits tonight. Rockies hitting .240 entering the ball game. Only 3 teams lower in the league: Pittsburgh, San Diego, Washington. In the bottom of the 9th, the Rockies will have Wigginton, Iannetta, and Fowler. And left on their bench, Jose Lopez, Alfredo Amezaga, and the number 2 catcher, Jose Morales. Chris Iannetta, see, Street stepped off the rubber for a second. As a catcher, you got to get out of that crouch too sometimes.
It's like a hitter kind of get locks up. Chris has to get out of that crouch to let the legs breathe a little.
Spilborn's in right. 2 gone. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Kelly Johnson 0 for 4, including a couple of strikeouts. He'll face Houston Street here with Nady at first and 2 gone in the 9th. Strike 1.
2 for 6 in his career against Houston Street. Here's Kelly Johnson. The first few pitches, Houston looks like he has the control still.
Fastball missed away. It's 2-1. This ball's hit a ton to right center field, and now the Rockies have a big deficit. Back wall of the Diamondbacks bullpen, and it's 6-3. 7th home run for Kelly Johnson.
Second one in this series for Kelly Johnson.
Well, his first went 466 feet, one of the longest in baseball this year, and this one went a long way also.
He went out and just hooked that one into the right center field bullpen off that back wall.
Upton grounds out. The Rockies with plenty of work to do. 6-3 as they will come up in the bottom of the 9th inning. By Troy Tulowitzki, bang bang play at first, and Tulowitzki was called out. Good strong throw by Montero. Tulowitzki again trying to bunt for a hit earlier in the ball game. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. J.J. Putz has been perfect this year in save opportunities, and it's not Putz now. It's Hernandez staying in the ball game after the 2-run home run by Johnson.
As quickly as he was able to get out of that 8th inning. Only took him a couple pitches. 3 pitches to get the last 2 outs, leave him in the game. Maybe save Putz for another day.
0-2 on Wigginton. Tie 1 for 3. A base hit and a run scored in the 7th when the Rockies rallied to make it a 4-3 ball game. Arizona on to Houston after the ball game. This is fouled off. Play a weekend set there. They'll return home and take on the Marlins. And the Rockies will welcome in the Cardinals tomorrow, so it won't get easier.
They're not with the Cardinals in their offense. They're ranked in the number 1 spot in a lot of categories offensively. And that's even with Pujols hitting in the 260s.
Melvin Mora, 1 out. Well, their team average of 282 is number 1 in the National League. It'll be Ubaldo Jimenez taking the baseball tomorrow, looking for his first victory since September 17th of last year. And the former Rocky farmhand Jake Westbrook will be on the hill for St. Louis. He's 4-3 with a 5.17.
Well, Rocky saw Jake last year after he came over from Cleveland.
Sinker baller. Ionetta's 0 for 3, and the 1-0 misses. 2-0 from Hernandez.
Remember, if a couple people do happen to get on, Jason Giambi's already been used in this game as a pinch hitter back in the 7th when the bases were loaded.
Yeah, if Ionetta and Fowler were to reach, you'd see Lopez. 6-3 Arizona. Boy, a whole different mindset for a dugout. A 1-run deficit when you gather with 3 outs to go, Huey, than when you're down 3.
There's so many more things you can do. If you get a guy on, hit by a pitch, you reach by an error, you can bunt him over. You feel like he's in scoring position. There's a lot less pressure on you as the home club when that happens. Instead of 3, it's we got to get 2 guys on and still hope for a home run at that point just to tie it up.
Well, there's 1 guy on with 1 out. Ionetta reaches. This is all Hernandez. I'm a little surprised, unless we're unaware of something that puts us completely unavailable because he worked the last couple of days, which is a possibility.
Yeah, and some managers will keep that close to their vest. They will not divulge that information before the game. We didn't hear anything about him not being available.
No, but I have to believe now that's the case, because in a 3-run game, you automatically bring in your closer if he's available. And with the runner reaching 1 out, you'd have him up if he was available just in case.
I think he had been in the ball game to start this inning if he was available.
So,
and a guy that's converted 14 straight, he's in the game if he's ready to go.
Well, this is on Hernandez. 1 ball, 1 strike on Fowler.
Nobody getting loose.
Two and 2. The Rockies have suffered, what is it now, 5 walk-off losses?
Yes.
They don't have a walk-off win yet.
That's shocking. But it goes back to what we talked about earlier in the broadcast when you're 12-12 at home.
In the air to left, easy play for Lindquist, 2 outs. So Jose Lopez will come up with 2 outs.
Well, if Arizona hangs on, it'll be Micah Owings' first win as a starter since July 4th of 2009.
Ionetta at first. Lopez hoping to pass the baton down to Ryan Spilborghs. Ball 1. Lopez 2 for 9 in the series. first start at second base yesterday in a while. 9 starts at second this year, 23 starts at third.
Taking the whole way.
Yeah, taking a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You need to try to make sure you can bring that tying run to the plate.
Two and one on Lopez.
That's been another part of the problem for the offense. Was when you do get a pitch to hit, been fouling it back a lot. And that was a pitch that Jose, it was right there.
Swung on and missed, and the Rockies lose 6-3. They fall under 500 for the first time since the first day of the year, April 1st, when they lost to these Diamondbacks in 11 innings, 7-6. Arizona's now 26-24. The Rockies are 24-25. Micah Owings' first victory, as Jeff Houston told you, since July 4th, 2009. The loss goes to Clayton Thornton. He's now 1-2. And Hernandez picks off the save. Our Jimmy John's Delivery of the Game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Mike Owings solid for 5 innings. He gave up 1 run. Had a little help on defense there from Justin Upton, our Jimmy John's Delivery of the Game. So again, the final score 6-3. The Rockies drop 3 of 4 to Arizona. And the misery on offense continues. Stick around. The Toyota postgame show's next.